Hey guys, Necromancer Noob with another Remnant 2 video. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to get the Ornate Box, how to get the Thaen Seed, what you can do with it, and how you can get an infinite amount of revives, which will be crucial and helpful in any playthrough. But first things first, you're going to need the Yeisha World, and you're also going to need Widow's Court.
Another thing you
Now,
need to do is
usually the Ornate
subscribe.
Box and Thaen Seed would be important for the Eternal Empress located in the Red Throne, but in this video we only care about what you can do with the seed if you don't give it to her. Now, most of this is going to be unedited. We're going to run through this Widow's Court together and make sure we hit every nook and cranny so we don't miss the box and key to open the said box. I'll leave a timestamp in the description and on the screen somewhere if you already found the key and the box and you just want to know what the next step is. So without further ado, let's get to it. For starters, I'm going to start from the bottom, and now we're here. Now, just a word of advice, all these dungeons areas are randomly generated, so this all might be slightly different from yours, so just use what's on my screen as reference. So like I said, we're exploring the bottom first. It's pretty linear for the most part. We're just going to stick to the bottom, explore as much as we can. There's a pretty big gap, so just make sure you get your jumping right. And over to the left is actually just going to bring us back up, so we are not going up that way, we are going to go this way. There's going to be a few enemies you got to take out, and there is actually a key in the waterfall. If you can see that, that key is going to open up a specific door later, so that will be very useful and handy. We will keep that for the future. So we took out the few enemies that were over here, and we actually get the Tarnished Key. Like I said, that is opening up a door later on, so we're just going to keep on moving. We're working our way down this corridor, and to the right is actually just going to bring us back up, but where we want to go is where it seems to be a dead end. There is a chest over to the right, and the wall to the left here is actually an invisible wall, so there we go, we have an illusionary wall which takes us to an elevator. This is actually going to take us to kind of like a throne room, wherever the queen, king, I don't know, the widow's court. And this is actually where we get the Ornate Box. But we do not have the right key for it, so we are going to keep on looking and get that key for. Now, as far as I can tell, aside from the Ornate Box, that is about it up here. This is actually essentially the end of the dungeon, so all I did was I just killed myself, and we're going to start back at the beginning and work our way to a different area this time. So we are back at the start of this dungeon or area, and as you can see, we knocked out a pretty good chunk of it. This is all underground for the most part. And we are going to save the stuff on the right for later. So what we are going to do is essentially go back to the same area we were before, but instead of going downstairs, we are going to go upstairs and just get those few items that are available. So I'm going to speed up this little section chunk right here and just get to the good stuff to where we were before. Now we're back to where we were before. Instead of going downstairs, like I said, we're just going to explore this upper area. There are a few chests lying around, a few items available as well. There we go, small horde of enemies taken out. We are going to work our way up. There isn't too much over here, so I'm just going to explore a little bit. And there's actually going to be a gap across these roofs. We are going to jump to the other side and get over there. So, jumped across the building, the rooftop. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot over here, which there isn't, but there are some unexplored areas below us, so we're just going to drop down. You can actually drop down right over here, but I actually jump across over here. Either or, it's going to take you to the same area, so it's probably easier to just drop off the side of the roof and not do this big gap like I did, but either way, we did it. Now at this point, I'm going to speed up quite a bit of this footage. A lot of it is very open spaced area. There are a few chests along the ways, so I'm just going to keep the footage in here, and we're just going to keep exploring, knocking out as much of this area as we can. It's a pretty massive area, so just stay with me.
Here they come.
Now at this point we are at the far left side of the area. This is a very open space with a lot of enemies. As far as I know, there wasn't any key items over here, anything of importance or value, but there is some loot and enemies, so we're going to get it all knocked out. We're going to get this map cleared out, and then we are on our way to the next spot. Now, usually I'd cut out a lot of this and just leave the bread and butter, you know, where to get the items and how to get them, what to use with them. But I've also seen a lot of comments and videos, not mine, but just others, saying that they'd appreciate it if they actually had a walkthrough of the dungeon itself. So I figured I might start doing a little bit more of that. I don't know, leave a comment if you like this. If you think I should do it a different way, just let me know. I am open to constructive criticism. But at this point, we essentially cleared almost half of this dungeon, the whole left side practically. We're getting to kind of the center or the middle of the dungeon over here. This is where more of the main stuff is, so
This isn't looking good. Yeah.
So we just cleared a good majority of the dungeon. Behind me is actually the entrance to the boss fight, but we don't want to go there just yet. Here is one of the doors that is actually a shortcut. Just get us back to where we are a lot faster than all that other stuff we had to run through. And we're actually going to go back through here though, because there are some items that we need to get. But as you know, before we get to that said location and items, there are going to be more enemies we got to take out. So I'm going to clear this last remaining few enemies over here, and we're actually going to come up to that door where we can use the key that we got earlier to open it up and get a few different items. So here's one of the locked doors earlier. We have the key for it now. This was actually the key we found at the very bottom of the area, the Tarnished Key. We're going to open it up, and there's a little bit of maneuvering and jumping around before we get the actual item we want. But all we want to do is just drop down right here on the side of the building. There's two gaps that we can jump across. One gap is going to lead to a treasure chest with a little bit of loot, and the other one is going to take us to that item. It is actually the Matriarch's Insignia. It is an amulet. It is very useful for melee builds, and this amulet I believe actually has some value to it other than the benefits it gives you. I think there's a quest that involves it. I'm not going to get too far into it, but just know that this is kind of important for future reference. Maybe in a different video I'll talk about it more. But that is essentially it for that little area. We are going to go back to the main area closer to the boss room. We're just going to go through that shortcut door that we opened up, take out the rest of this hordes of enemies, and there's just a few more things we are going to grab over here. So we took out that horde of enemies, and we are actually going back down to the ground floor. The ground floor, there should be the key, which will open up the Ornate lockbox. So you can go ahead and just go to your menu, interact with your key items in the inventory section, and you can actually interact with the box and use the key we just got to open it up. So there is a few different things you could do with the said Ornate lockbox. Two of the things involve taking it back to the Internal Empress located at the Red Throne. If you give her the box unopened, just the box as is, she will give you one item. If you give her the Thaen seed, if you open up the box instead and give her that, she will give you a different item from what I just mentioned. I'm not going to go into detail of the other items. I'll probably make a different video talking about the different things you could do with it. But what we are going to do is keep the seed for ourselves, and we're actually going to take it back to the ward. So when we take it back to the ward, there is a garden section. You can interact with a dirt pile and plant the seed. As time goes on, in-game and out of the game, the tree will grow and it will start to grow fruit. These fruit have special properties that will revive you when you are downed, and depending on how long you let the fruit stay there, it will give you better benefits. There is a mature that gives you 30% health back. There is a celestial that gives you 50% back, and I think there is a young one as well. But this tree is super helpful. It stays in your world even through adventure and story mode. You can switch back and forth, and that tree will stay there no matter what. It will keep on growing fruit no matter what, and you can keep on plucking that fruit. You can only have one fruit at a time, and you can only use one as you go on, but every time you come back, you can pick up another one and keep on using them, and keep on having that free revive just in case anything happens. But there we have it. This is what you can do with the Thaen seed, at least one of the main things that I think you should do immediately when you get it. If you like this video, if you found this any way, shape, or form helpful, leave a like, comment, subscribe. There's plenty more Remnant videos along the way, and I will see you guys in the next one. So I'll see you all later. Have a good one. Bye.